Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that's terrific. So we welcome our newest parents who are now members of the AUN community. Could we have a round of applause for our parents? I think I'm seeing in front of me the class of 2019. Is that right? Could you please rise so we can give you a hand? Class of 2019. Big round of applause for them. You're welcome. Thank you. You will be joined by at least another 50 or 60 new students and parents, and probably more. They're on their way to Yola. This is the first moment when we begin the academic year of 2015-2016, and that's why I've asked all of our academic and student life leaders to be with us. Could I ask members of the academic unit, deans, provost, faculty, members of student life to please stand, and we welcome them this morning. There's one person in this room who's worked tirelessly to make sure that this class comes together. He and his team work so hard every year, this year even harder. Could I please ask Linus Ikurov to stand, and we thank him and his recruitment staff. So the message we're sending to you this morning is, as you begin your new careers and lives with us at the American University of Nigeria, there's a very large team that's always together to support what you're beginning to do. So what is that all about? Let's see if we can get this moving here. So I'm sure my colleagues are tired of this graph, but I believe it's a very important one for parents and our new students to reflect on. When I became president 6 years ago now, Nigeria was not moving to third in the world by 2045. Nigeria is now the 7th largest country in the world in population, and by 2045 it will be third. Say that again. In your lifetime, during your professional lives, Nigeria will be third. You'll be surpassing my country, which will flip, so the US will become fourth, India, China, Nigeria. I think that's really important to let sink in a little bit, because we believe at AUN we are educating the future leaders of what will be the third largest country in the world. Both of our responsibilities are very great then as you begin your education at AUN. There's a great picture obviously from the sky, and Dr. Rollins, our security officer, will tell you a little bit about one of the ways that we monitor your security, but I think it gives you some sense of the growth of this university. The red building, the red roof building that you were in yesterday for the beginning of your orientation is the largest building in northern Nigeria. And one of the reasons we're so proud of it, not only because we have a beautiful facility, but it was built with local people who'd been trained up. And that's a big part of what AUN stands for. You're in the Robert Pastor Library. This is, I believe, our most beautiful building to date on campus. It's named for a former board member who helped establish AUN. He was a vice president at the American University in Washington. Unfortunately, he recently passed away, and His Excellency has named it for him. I think I have a nice announcement this morning right behind us. If you go out and you look at the windows facing towards the street, you'll see a big open area. And on November 14th, you're all invited. We'll be breaking ground on a new Dr. Michael Adenuga Jr. School of Engineering. So AUN is on the move. What is AUN? Some of you may not know the history. We are beginning our second decade. So in many ways, you're a very significant class. As we begin our second decade, our 11th year, we begin to always reflect on what our mission is. Our mission is to be a development university. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. Our motto is excellence, integrity, and service. Excellence, the highest level of education. Integrity. There is no plagiarism or corruption tolerated at the American University of Nigeria. And service. You'll be learning a lot about service. In fact, this new class will go out for their first community service exercise on Friday. Even though we are the only American-style university in sub-Saharan Africa, we are not alone. AUN is a member of something called AAICU. You can see that up there. That's the American Association of International Colleges and Universities. That's AU Paris, AU Rome, one in England called Richmond, one in Iraq, one in Cairo, the oldest, AUC, one in Lebanon, AUB, AU Beirut. So we're a part of a very large and expanding, I've just heard from the Indians who want to build one, and one in Nepal. So we are part of a very important international organization, and this university holds the vice presidency of that association. So we are really well connected with the rest of the world. In addition to that, we're a member of something called the Global Liberal Arts Alliance, which is a large association of universities in the United States, and something called the Engagement Scholarship Consortium. So while we're in Yola, not in the center of Nigeria, we're certainly connected to very important international institutions. For our newest students, especially those first two, AAICU and GLAA, all of the members in those institutions have just opened up study abroad opportunities for you. There are about 55 universities now around the world, including Oxford, where you'll be able to spend one semester. So really, you've come to a university, you're getting the same education that you'd get in America, but you're in your home country, which we believe is very important because you're learning from your friends as well as from your faculty. But you'll have the opportunity to study in about 55 countries around the world. Obviously, we have strong ties with America and American universities. As I said, we were originally founded parents with American University in Washington, D.C. There are still members of AU on our board, but now our partner is Tulane University. Dr. Rollins will talk a little bit more about our safe and secure environment, but we regularly have diplomats coming through AUN. Last night, as Abba said, the Rwandan High Commissioner, the brand new one, came to bring his two sons who are in the audience, and I won't embarrass them, but increasingly members of the diplomatic corps are sending their children here, and I will embarrass him. We have the former Irish ambassador to Nigeria, Professor Paddy Fay, now is a full-time faculty member, teaching international and comparative politics. So faculty from 35 countries. The provost will tell you a lot more about our wonderful academic programs, business and entrepreneurship, information technology and computing, arts and sciences. We are working, as I said, to establish law this year, and engineering is funded, and we hope our next school after that will be medicine. So AUN is expanding quite rapidly. AUN is a bit bigger than the university. We start at 3 months over on the North Campus. We have a primary school, a secondary school, not just undergraduate programs, but excellent graduate programs that also the provost will talk to you about, and obviously a robust scholarship program like we have at an American university. You'll be proud to know that last year the American Library Association, considered the best in the world, chose 3 universities to be the best internationally in terms of their digital holdings and also what they're doing with those holdings. And AUN was at the top of that list. I thank our librarians, our chief information officer who's leading that. In fact, as all of my colleagues know, 2 years ago I walked outside of my office and here are some folks from Mountain View, California. Do we all know what's in Mountain View? Google. I'm from California, so I was pretty surprised that these 2 men and a woman were sitting outside my office. And when I said, "We're thrilled that you're here. We didn't know you were coming. Why are you here?" I'll always remember. They said, "We have a big worldwide usage map where we monitor who's using Google around the world." And there was this very bright light coming from northern Nigeria. And they said, we had to come see what that bright light was. Well, you've just joined the university that's that very bright light. At the time, we were the majority of Google's usage in the country. That's changed, of course, in 2 years. But know that you've come to a place where we have the most robust technology, and we're blessed with that, of any university in the country. Who actually governs the university? This is a private university. Some Nigerians say to me, well, Atiku Abubakar owns it. He doesn't own it. he certainly founded it. And there's no one contributing more to higher education in the world right now than him. I know that data. This is something he believes in as much as anything in the world. So his contributions keep us going and moving and building new buildings. But we're set up like an American university with an independent board of governors or board of trustees. You can see who some of these people are. They come from around the world, Uganda, South Africa. Our chair is Mr. Akin Kakeri-Akun, who of course is well-known in finance. Other Nigerians, and then from the United States, we're blessed with many senior academics and administrators, including the former chairman of the National Science Foundation in the United States. So a very accomplished board of trustees that all of us report to. It might be odd to ask yourself the question, what's next? You've just walked in the doors of AUN. But I'd like to assure our parents, especially, that our alums are getting into the best graduate programs in the world. And I believe that's an important measure of what AUN stands for and the excellent education our faculty and deans and provosts are providing. So you can just see here, Doyum, who used to work for us when he graduated, went on to Carnegie Mellon University. If you haven't heard of it, it's one of the best in computer science in the world. I believe while he was still a student, Google hired him. So he's out working for Google. We've had students at Syracuse, Tufts University, Georgetown, Columbia University. I believe Wisdom was studying journalism. More recently, we've got another one at Carnegie. We've got one who's an Eric Air pilot, actually flying the Yola route. I keep looking for him and hope that he will say when he announces in Yola, the home of AUN. Michael founded a technology company. Soy also founded Afrique, which I'm sure you've heard of. Some of our female students, Kiani was the founder of CEO Smile on Me. Photography, Miriam just published a book. Fatima has started her own NGO. We have many in PhD programs, again, around the world. I'll go quickly through this in Canada, in the UK. Radha, of course, is here in our PhD program in Business Management and Administration in the US, the UK, Canada, Germany. So, what I hope you're beginning to understand is what our commitment is to you as a university. First and foremost, it's a first-class education by faculty members who are committed to each one of you. One of the things we've decided in looking at some of our recent work is that this year we're starting a whole new initiative on writing. So wherever you are in writing, if you're an excellent writer, if you've got some work to do, by the time you graduate, you will be an outstanding writer. Why? Two of the most important things about an education like this are the ability to think critically, to evaluate information, to write about it, and speak about it. So I thank our academic unit for this wonderful new writing across the curriculum. We also are starting a new initiative led by Vice President Bullock to make sure we know where every student in this university is in their academic progress. We've got a wonderful advising center that will say to you, you take this class, you need this one for your major, but we've decided that's not enough. We want to make sure we're tracking each student's progress and weaknesses so we can help you strengthen them. Dean Bullock and others do incredible leadership preparation through clubs and other activities and summer institutes in this area. Obviously, if you see where our students are working and going to school, we have a robust career advising program. And what do I mean partners throughout their professional life? I was thinking last night as I put this together, there won't be a faculty member or a dean in this room who doesn't know these three young women. It means we keep in touch with our students even when they graduate. Miriam Chiari, who graduated with a master's degree in international trade and investment. She's working at a financial firm in the US. Who's she working for? An AUN board member. Everyone at this university is invested in making sure you're successful. When Miriam finished, she wrote back to us and said, I'd like to stay in the US a little longer and apply my skills. Can anyone help? We all jumped in. And a board member who runs a very big financial services company said, Miriam can work for me. Rosemary. Rosemary's near and dear to my heart because she was my assistant for 2 years. She's determined to become a doctor. She went to the University of Michigan and she started with epidemiology. I got a call from the chairman of the department and he said, she's very, very good. We would like to give her a full scholarship if she's willing to be a graduate assistant. And we said, ask her. So Miriam's work at the University of Michigan, which is one of the best in the United States, is fully funded. And finally, Nacha, who did his study in Oxford, we were all in touch with, we're so proud of, and he's back here in Nigeria applying his knowledge. The point is, we never lose you. You've joined an institution that will stay with you, if you want us to, for your whole professional career. And parents, I think that's really important for you to understand. It's not just 4 years. Pay your tuition. We give them an education. We give a diploma to them. It is the point that you've joined a community that cares very deeply about all of our students. So what are our students doing in addition to class? I said that service is the third part of our motto. Let's say it together. Excellence, integrity, and service. Excellence, integrity, service. One of the ways we're a development university is that we have these courses called CDV courses, community development courses. And one is out teaching these young people in our community to read. Why? I've had people say, what does that have to do with the university? What are you doing out there with these little kids? Well, again, our mission is different. Our mission is to prepare you to know the challenges in your country and on this continent and be the people who will solve them. And we believe that the way to do that is to have you out there. So in this particular CDV class, and it looks like they're having a lot of fun, we're using our advanced technology. You can see the iPad there. We've loaded free books. Some of our brilliant computer science students, male and female, have written apps in Hausa and Fulfulde. And we'll have another competition this year for the best app. And then, of course, on the other side, they're teaching. But in this class, instead of writing a paper and taking an exam, our students write a book for the young children they're teaching, which we make digitally available, and we're building a library in our community. Again, I see parents going, what does this have to do with university? Illiteracy in Adamawa is close to 80%. What if you couldn't read? What if you picked up a newspaper and you really wanted to see what was happening in the world and you couldn't read? I can't imagine a life without reading. So our biggest contribution to the community as a development university right now is this literacy program. And the U.S. government agrees because they've just given us close to $1 million to expand this program in our community. So all of you will be involved, whether it's teaching literacy in one of our programs. I want to wrap up with a little bit more of our development work. Some of you parents have asked, well, YOLA was really kind of at the center of some of the challenges in the last year. And you're right. And everyone at this university rose to the occasion. Fortunately, the university had established a peace initiative in 2012 here with all of the religious leaders, Christian leaders, Muslim leaders, NGO leaders, business leaders. And we'd begun to work with these vulnerable youth in our community before we dealt with what we did last year. We've trained over 15,000 young people. We're training women how to produce interesting products. Peace Through Sports is run by Bello. Lots of important programs. If you're staying at the hotel or even in our building, you can see what the women are doing. This is another CDV course, students, where our students are out teaching ICT skills to local community members. It's had a huge impact on the community. This is the result of last year's Peace Day, where these young women won the secondary school part of a math competition, again, taught by our students. This is a stellar, our literacy work. So, the American University's mission is different from other universities around the world, and we're very proud of it. I'll just read it out loud to you. AUN will foster the creation of leaders, that's you, class of 2019, committed to sustaining a democracy in which diverse people share in the rights and responsibilities of citizenship, proficient in creating and applying technology to wise purpose, and dedicated to securing a humane and prosperous world. That's a pretty lofty vision, and every day we do our very best to achieve it. Are we doing a good job? It's not for us to say, but our students are the best test of that, especially our alums, and they're doing extraordinarily well. But recently, one of your local papers said, the best private university isn't in the South, it's not in the center of excellence. I'm not sure we're the most educationally backward zone in the country, but many around the country are beginning to recognize the work of our great faculty and academic leaders and student leaders. So I'll end with this, because this is what education means to me. And this is my test of whether education works. Unfortunately, there's a town in your country that's become synonymous with educational failure, and it's called Chibok. And last year, when those young women were kidnapped, this university had the opportunity to bring here some of them who escaped that night. And everyone in this university, students, faculty, and staff, have helped lift them up. And it's an unbelievable transformation. And if I ever needed a reminder of the importance of an educational mission, they reminded me. Those young women came in hungry. I'm sure you came with big suitcases, did you, moving here? If they had anything, they had a little plastic bag. But they were dedicated to learning, because they knew this was their chance. The end of this last semester, I said, tell me, what does this mean to you? And these were young people who didn't speak a lot of English and certainly didn't write English. If in 1 year they can write this, we expect the world of you, because you've had a wonderful education foundation. You have loving parents who are here with you, who've done everything they can to support you. So if these 3 young women in 1 year can go from their state to where they are now, the sky is not the limit, as we say. So let me just read them to you, because I just think that shows you the transformation. I write this from the bottom of my heart. Education is the act of receiving and studying knowledge. It's reciprocal. You've got to learn. Education is very important in my life because it's the bedrock to every successful person through hard work and determination. You will succeed here. There's no question you will succeed if you work hard and you're determined. Mary, education is a rope that can carry us to greatness. I can almost see Mary on that rope flying. And Grace. Grace, who barely spoke a word of English when she walked in the door here, August 14th, so just a year ago. Education gives me the wings to fly, the power to fight, and the voice to speak. And that's what this education can do for you. Take advantage of every moment here. Education does not just occur in the classroom. It occurs every moment you're on campus. It occurs while you're walking to class and you see Dean Jacob, you see the provost, you see one of the deans, and you have a conversation with them. It occurs when you're in your clubs that Dean Bullock and his staff have put together that are extraordinary. And it also goes on when you're out in the community teaching other people to read. So welcome. Today is the first day of a different life for you. We're thrilled to have you with us. We're grateful to our new AUN parents for bringing them, and we're here to make sure all of you succeed. Thank you.